Many people would ask me, or would ask people, or maybe you'd wonder what actually started the Great War, or the First Great War, and why, or why did the black people hate the Germans? Why did the black people, what was going on? And well, like I said, basically, well, pretty much, quite a few men in history basically felt that they should be able to have their way upon women, you know, and like I said, I had wanted to basically add some color into my population. Like I wanted to create like some cream colored people, pretty much. And so basically, some black people or some other people had decided to basically, force their will upon some. That meant that they could force their will upon some women. And like I said, this one German female, she had a husband. She had a husband. She had two kids or three kids. They're happily married. They were in a farmhouse, and there was like I remember that I believe there's hay fields all around the farmhouse and a fence or something like that. And basically there was like this little community of basically ragtag, uh, barely single construction wall buildings, and like this one German family, that lived there. And basically, she had like a daughter or two sons or something. I don't know. They had a family basically, and she was married. So she had a loving husband and everything. And I think they were actually Americans, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I just remember it was a farmhouse. There were three black men or something like that. And I could be wrong about it. You'd have to go back in time and actually look at it. Basically, the farmhouse and pretty much the black men, like they had heard that I had wanted to have some cream colored children or something, or I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they were just doing whatever they wanted to do. Basically, they crossed the fence into the land, and pretty much, they entered the house, held her down, and were raping her. And these are big black men, basically, or something like that. I don't really know, and I'm pretty sure this is what started it all. Anyway, so he was away from the house, I think, and basically, and they might have tied up some people. I don't know. I don't really know the details. Like this is hundreds of trillions or millions of years ago, a long time ago, basically, and some other people researched it and found out that it was true. And basically, she pretty much, I believe she got one in the carotid artery or got the gun or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, though, one of them she killed right away. Then the other two were going to take her on 2-on-1 or something like that, or I don't really know. And she basically defended herself. I think she was wounded in the process, though. I don't really know. I think she died. I'm not exactly sure, but like she was shot or something like that. And basically, I don't really know the details of it. But basically, one of them ended up running away, running back to the town, and told a story or a lie or something like that. And so 120 of them went there to go get this one family and this one girl. And I don't know, it might have been during the night. They might have decided to hit them at night. I don't know. It might involve my Starline scope or something like that. Thinking that the dark would protect them. I'm not exactly sure. I thought it was during the day, though, that this happened. But anyway, though, and as they entered the field or whatever, they were going to go get the family, blah, 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 and show them up. And she was mortally wounded. She was bleeding out. There was no way to save her. Or at least not without a proper hospital, which there wasn't one around. So they patched each other up. They patched her up. And I don't know, maybe the kids and the family ran off. I'm not exactly sure. But basically, as they entered the field, basically she picked them off one by one. 120 of them. And, or something like that. I don't really know. But that's what actually initiated the war between the black people and the Germans. So, because they were trying to rape her, they had raped her or something like that, and then they went to go have their way with her, and kill them and stuff. And I think they were going to do some pretty horrible things to them, because nobody says no to blah blah or something like that. And I don't really know the details of it, but from there, it just kind of went further and further and further. And like I said, anyway, they all died or whatever. The other people, the officials came in, they did investigations, blah, blah, took statements, blah, blah, blah. I think the black people might have said they were lying, I don't really know, or said, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what happened. But anyway, though, Um, the Germans were completely honest about the whole thing, and she died. So she was dead, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, she bled out, and the family might run away. I don't really know about the details of it, to tell you the truth. It's not much more than a story now, but basically, um, and I don't know, there might have been some capture. I don't think so. So I think they all died right there in that field. But anyway though, so Papa was just a young little boy at that point in time, very young, and basically, so we communicated with the mother, and I told the mother to basically tell the son what had happened, and why it happened, that his father was a bad person, and that this, he was trying to rape some women, and it didn't go their way. So anyway, and that I wasn't going to hold it against the family, because I mean, this community had been a problem for a while. So I was going to let the woman and the son go ahead and live, and I could have had them all executed, but I decided not to. I decided to let them live, and a lot of people said just execute them. It's a bad community, blah blah blah. So I said no, 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 we don't do it that way. So I let the mother and the son live, and just said it's a bad situation. He was doing bad things. He was lying to you, blah blah, and they went to go kill him, and this and that, and basically just explain the situation. And I don't know. Anyway, though, from there, basically, Papa goes bad, it gets even worse, and I don't know. Anyway, eventually, he gets some uniforms from me or whatever. They're one of my black communities and stuff, and they are my workers. I was paying for them. I think maybe the farmhouse was actually like where everything was coming from or whatever. They're just trying to take over the farm or take over the place, basically. Just like what they do in Africa nowadays. Irish or Germans build stuff, and the guy even admitted it later on. He said he got an AK-47, and he wanted to, and he went down to the candy store or whatever, and he wanted candy, but he didn't have any money. There was a German in the store, so he shot the German and took all the candy he wanted and gave it out to the rest of the kids, from the store, which basically closed the candy store in that place. And all the kids loved him, blah blah blah. Thought he was wonderful and great, and he gave away the kids. He saw a girl walking with another boy, an older boy. He thought that the older boy was his was her boyfriend, obviously, or something like that, or with her. So he shot him. The older boy was her brother, and then he raped her, something like that, or had sex with her. He saw a queen. He knew he had to have her, and she would be his. So he shot the Duke, and got her and imprisoned her and raped her for years or something like that. Anyway, basically, pretty much sums it up. So basically, just a bunch of guys just doing whatever they wanted, and basically, as Lord of Germany, as owner of Germany, I was having my people stop it. Anyway, eventually, he can finally get his vengeance. He's kicked out of one of these leaders. One of these black leaders are kicked out of Warsaw and some other places, and even jailed for 20 or 30 years. And basically, I probably should just have people killed. Should have had him killed, I guess. Maybe a lot of people lived. I don't know. Maybe jail doesn't work. I don't know. So anyway, they're kicked out of Warsaw, and this and that, and so Papa always wanted to have his vengeance. These black people always wanted to get their vengeance, and they were going into factories and basically killing the workers, getting new workers, or forcing other black people to work inside these factories because they had guns. So anyway, so basically, they were just lying about everything. And they really didn't get all that far more than basically taking a bunch of silver or gold and melting it down. Like the cane factory was already in operation and already going. You just had to run the machines, and basically you'd have canes, and do some work. So they killed the people who originally were there or something like that and took it over, and then he was big pimping around the city of Warsaw, eventually kicked out by the Irish people or someone, and anyway, then plotted his vengeance on basically Germany and basically Europe. And he kind of got there, but he didn't really. The Germans and the Chinese and everybody were basically on top of the whole situation because these were one or two people, and he was running around spouting off all this stuff, about how you can't trust them, you can't trust blah blah blah, this and that. They're trying to hold you down, and like we were giving raises and payroll, and things were getting better. And like I said, every couple of years, it was coming out with a new ship or a new aircraft or new something, so everything was getting better, and everyone knew it. And like I said, you're just one planet. Like there's more, so. So he saw JFK and Nixon and all these other white people as his way of getting vengeance or getting weapons or something. I don't really know. I don't really care. They were psycho. Like I say, the Republicans were just running around with a card, and basically you had to accept the Republican card, or else the Republican militia would show up and basically trash your building. Yeah. And, and they didn't really have any money, didn't have anything. And they would just take over hotels for about a week or two, and then they would leave, of course, because eventually people would show up to go do something about them. Because they would just be killing and raping and doing whatever they wanted or whatever. Had guns and basically turning the place into basically a war zone or a nightmare. So, it was only a matter of time before civilization and everyone decided to do something about these people. And I don't know, I don't care. Eventually I guess they saw maybe getting me as money or something, and it's like, I'm the creator of 12 other life form types and humanity, and I don't know, I guess they figured since I was the real one, as long as, it didn't matter who they picked as long as they didn't pick the real one. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, I don't care. This is stupid. And even as Brian, technically my name was Little Lucifer, but I was actually in presence of actually being Brian. With the Brian life form line basically become, I was already Lucifer, Little Lucifer, or Lucifer Starline. Little Lucifer Starline. I spent like 2 million years being 2 foot tall, 3 foot tall, or being a spaceship. And technically I was like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I don't care. I don't want to be here. So, why would I want to? I don't want to be around epic stupidity. So I didn't have to be, so I didn't. So, yeah. So that's why Rodney and Rick Bush and everyone's scared shitless and basically running around like they had chicken with their head cut off, trying to do a time war, trying to do this, trying to do that. It's like, not really going to help. You can't stop everything. You can't stop the future. They have all these plans for destroying the world or holding the world hostage or doing this or doing that. It's like, I'm 99 trillion years old. They got me a long time ago, and basically Rodney was like, and I was like, Rodney, you can't stop the future. You can't stop another galaxy from getting here. You can't stop physics. It's a physical thing. And it just is what it is. And basically he was just deny. Just say no, and just really being annoying. It's like, and he was like, you're not going to win, Brian. You're not going to win. The Republicans are right. And just saying all this shit. And it was just really annoying. So anyway. And the Republicans were really wrong, and the Republicans, and Rodney was trying to do the Republicans are the best people in the world. What are you talking about, Brian? The best ever. You just don't know how good they are. Once you get to know them, you'll know. And it's like, yeah, you're stupid. Damn. And it turned out, like I said, the Republicans were the worst people in the world. So are the Democrats, or something like that. I don't know, whatever you call them, demoniculous, or whatever, or whatever their name is, aristocrats, whatever. And it's just unfortunate. They're just running sex, and it's just stupid. And they thought it would end, or they thought it was all going to end, and it's not going to end. There is no end. It just keeps going, and going, and going, and going, and going. Rodney and Rick Bush and a bunch of other people needed it to end because, as I told them, I'm one of trillions upon billions, and I'm the oldest in existence. So, and I've been in far worse situations, like tied to a nuclear bomb or having Abraham Lincoln stare over me while he's getting dressed in a suit, telling me about how he was going to be going off to Gettysburg or touring my factories or something, taking the train that night. And, oh well, it's just a train. It's not like he was taking my LSF colony ship or whatever. And even if he did, where's he going to go? I mean, I'm the great Lucifer Starline, creator of the first stars and first suns, or first. And they just did that whole thing of changing the name of the star to a sun, so other people could say, "Yeah, I'm creator of the first suns. Yeah, yeah, I create suns. I create the sun." So they wouldn't be lying, obviously. And it's like, well, there's a difference between what you do and what I do. I create those big giant fusion reactors in the sky, and you create little things that look up at you and go, "Daddy!" So what Lucifer Starlight does, and what others do. So I was the kind that created real stars. And then, of course, there's also the people that create stars of Hollywood. It's like just more people. It's like there's what I do, and there's what they do. And what they do is just basically say things like, you got to go down before you get around. You got to go down on the brown before you get around. It's just, just me going, wow. Stars of Hollywood. Yeah. So basically forcing a girl to have sex with you so you could actually so she can go entertain and perform on a stage is the same as creating a giant fusion reactor in space that burns for hundreds of trillions of years. That's comparable? Oh well. So yeah. So yeah, So I really don't care.